constructive. One of the first steps in making progress is clarifying our terms, so Elshof leads us to consider what we mean by shame, and he efficiently but effectively defines several key ideas related to shame. But make no mistake, for shame is far more than a dry, dictionary-like parsing of terms. It is filled with concrete examples and illustrations drawn from a wide breadth of literature on shame and honor, giving us a balanced and carefully nuanced perspective. I was excited when I first heard that Gregg was writing this book, knowing the unique perspective he would provide for readers, and I have not been disappointed. This is a timely book with plentiful and profound insights. Some may think an entire book on shame sounds depressing, but this isn't a negative or discouraging book. It's a book about human flourishing. And surprising as it may sound, a proper understanding of shame can contribute in positive ways to healthy human flourishing. I challenge you to reflect deeply on these proposals. Invite others into this conversation. Even if your initial instinct is to dismiss some of Elshof's ideas, take a moment to pause. This is the work of a thoughtful scholar, and this is a carefully written book. Take the time to understand the argument and why it matters. Jackson Wu, Theologian in Residence, Mission 1, Phoenix, Arizona, USA. Chapter 1. Apology. Not long ago, I was on a solo backpacking trip through the San Jacinto wilderness. Backpacking in such a beautiful country, while glorious, presents the would-be practitioner with many challenges. Among them, the biological need to digest food and discard waste in an environmentally sensitive way that respects the dignity of others on the trail. This involves preparing in advance with materials and strategies for responsible bathroom stops. Seasoned backpackers know all about this, and there's no reason to get into the gory details here. Suffice it to say that on the present occasion I was suitably prepared and had deployed the relevant strategies. Nevertheless, I was discovered at exactly the wrong time by another hiker who had wandered significantly off trail. The interpersonal contact was brief, and I dare say profoundly uncomfortable for us both. I can't say for certain what the other hiker felt, but I know how I felt. Though I had done nothing wrong, I felt wrongly situated in the world. I felt as though my very presence, such as it currently was a source of pain, discomfort, and embarrassment both for this other person and for me. I felt a significant downtick in my social standing in the world, like I was a less respectable person than I had been just moments before. I felt like a person of slightly lesser consequence. I wanted to shrink, to disappear. I think the other hiker felt similarly. Though he had done nothing wrong, I think he felt wrongly situated in the world. He felt his own existence as a cause of pain, discomfort, and embarrassment in the world. He felt slightly less respectable than he did just moments before. He also wanted to shrink, to disappear. Thankfully, he did disappear in relatively short order, and the experience faded into the background of an otherwise sublime experience in the wilderness. The emotion I'm describing is, I think, a familiar one. We've all experienced it. Nobody I know likes it. Sometimes it is mercifully short-lived and relatively mild in its intensity, as was the case in my hiking experience. But sometimes it persists because the conditions that give it occasion are not so easily eliminated. Often, parties to this emotional experience cannot simply disappear, as did the other hiker. And sometimes the feeling occurs with an intensity that drowns out nearly all else. On some occasions, the emotion arises in connection with something we've done that we know or think to be wrong. We suffer the embarrassment of social discrediting, and we want to shrink or hide when we are caught, or when we imagine being caught, in serious moral failure. In these cases, an experience of guilt typically accompanies the emotion in question. On other occasions, though, guilt does not accompany the experience of this emotion. I may experience this kind of embarrassed social discrediting, for example, if my parent is caught in a serious moral failure or if someone accidentally sees me naked. Folks with publicly discernible impairments or disabilities often report feeling this way in connection with the real or imagined public experience of their disability. Sometimes, folks experience this felt loss of social standing as a consequence of being significantly wronged by others. Victims of sexual abuse and discrimination of all sorts